49ers News and Rumors Mailbag coming at you on the 49ers Report by Chat Sports. I'm your host, Chase Sr. Today's question and answer mailbag presented to you by our friends at Manscaped, the most elite and best men's grooming products available right now for 20% off and free shipping. Just plug in that link down below, manscaped.com/49ers, and enter the promo code 49ers for that deal to apply. First question in this mailbag coming in from Mr. Block Ice 2022. I don't know how our salary cap is, but do you think we should focus on getting players from the draft? There's no question. I mean, the San Francisco 49ers certainly have draft needs going into April's NFL draft, which is in Las Vegas this year, kicking off April 28th, going until April 30th. And you look at some of the 49ers' needs. Cornerback, offensive line. Those are really the top two needs for me on this roster right now. And the beauty of the draft, if you can get some impact players who can play and contribute right away, like an Ambry Thomas, like an Elijah Mitchell, you don't have to fork over a bunch of cash to those players. They're under contract over the next couple of years, and you can afford to save some money and get some immediate impact players in the draft. So, yes, the salary cap situation right now, the 49ers are ranked 22nd in the NFL, but if they trade away Jimmy Garoppolo, that frees up $25, $26 million. If they restructure Eric Armstead as well as Jimmy Ward, that opens up some money. So, over the next couple of weeks, a lot of moves are going to be made with salary cap implications, with players getting cut, players getting traded, and contract restructures going on up until the start of the new league year in the second week of March. Ellis 10, let's talk top three draft needs. Yeah, I kind of just said it. So I said two. I think cornerback is number one, although I still think from a team-building philosophy standpoint, I've always said this here on the Niners Report, you can get away with average cornerback play as long as you have a pass rush. And the 49ers have that at their disposal, led by defensive coordinator D'Amico Ryans and a very good and ferocious defensive front. So cornerback and offensive line, those are really my top two needs. Right guard, right tackle, especially if you want to move on from Mike McGlinchey, who is a sneaky trade candidate. You might be able to get back a middle round pick. And then my third draft need for the Niners, I'd love for them to bring in a big-bodied wide receiver. Jalen Hurd didn't work out for San Francisco, but can you find another player in that type of mold? A Treylon Burks sliding into the second round would be phenomenal news for San Francisco, although I think he's going to be taken in the first round. A big-bodied wide receiver who can play the outside, maybe play a little slot, who might not have the most blazing speed, but can be a jump ball threat to catch some touchdowns and reel those in red zone situations. Those are my top three draft needs for San Francisco. And then you kind of think, like, as we talk about offensive line, if Alex Mack doesn't come back, you're going to need a center as well. So while the 49ers made it and are fresh off a Final Four trip, they, of course, need some players to come in and new acquisitions to help bolster this roster. Speaking of the NFL draft, this is going to be the pinned comment on today's mailbag. So if you get hit with that YouTube ad break, just scroll on down and get your votes in. Who is your favorite NFL draft prospect? You let me know. Drop me a name or names in the comment section right now. OJG, Jimmy Garoppolo and George Kittle to the Carolina Panthers. Who would you want back? Because if I'm San Francisco, I'm asking for a lot in return. You get a starting quarterback and you get one of the best tight ends in the National Football League in George Kittle. I know there was a lot of discussion this past week about George Kittle getting traded. It was more so an idea and an opinion piece, and I've talked about George Kittle being traded starting several months ago when he wasn't really playing well, as a way to free up some salary and bring back a very good player. But George Kittle is one of the best, if not the best, blocking tight ends in the NFL. He's still a very good pass catcher. He's a dangerous threat in the run game as well as the pass game. So while he does make a lot of money, his impact is really felt all across the entire offense. So I don't think it's wise to trade away George Kittle. HR, $5 super chat. Thank you so much for your donation. The true haters are those that want to block Trey's ascendance with another Jimmy retread year. Let the young talent shine. I agree with you, HR. If the 49ers moved forward with Jimmy Garoppolo as the starting quarterback, not only would that be an indictment on the development of Trey Lance, I think it would be a bad football decision to move forward with Jimmy Garoppolo as the starting quarterback. He has a cap and puts a cap and a limitation on this 49ers offense. You saw it come to light during the NFC Championship game. I want to see the 49ers be aggressive offensively like the Rams were aggressively with Matthew Stafford. And Jimmy Garoppolo doesn't push the ball down the field. He completes a majority of his passes right around the hashes and in the middle of the field. He doesn't throw to the outer numbers. He isn't a running threat, doesn't have the arm strength or the dynamic athletic ability of Trey Lance. So I'm moving forward with Trey as my quarterback, and if he's not ready to play, that's when I look at another option like a Tom Brady if he decides to come out of retirement, especially if you can sign him in NFL free agency. Now, when I evaluate Trey Lance as a quarterback prospect, I think he is the ultra premium package. Manscaped's ultra premium package is also elite, like the skill sets of Trey Lance. And right now, you can get all of these products at the bottom of your screen for just $39.99, 20% off and free shipping as well by going to manscaped.com/49ers and enter the promo code 49ers. We're talking body wash, body spray, deodorant, shampoo and conditioner, chapstick as well. All of those products as part of the Ultra Premium Collection available right now for the Niner Gang for $39.99. We put together a special link and promo code for the faithful. That link is available in the comment section as well as the description of this video. Get hooked up because you don't want to be stinky looking sloppy for your significant other. Manscaped will help take care of that. Darrell, do we win more with Trey? Look, 49ers went 10-7 with Jimmy Garoppolo, and he was one of the lone reasons why they lost a couple of those games. If Trey Lance started last year, could the 49ers have gone 10-7 that year as well? Yes, I believe so, because I don't think there's a significant gap between Garoppolo and Lance. And while there is a gap when it comes down to experience, Trey Lance is the much more talented quarterback. And his dual threat nature, his ability to keep defenses on its heels, the unpredictable aspect of the 49ers offense grows with Lance as the quarterback because of the run and throw aspect to his game. I think it makes the Niners offense actually more dangerous. So pick a quarterback number one in 2022. Who are you starting if you're in the shoes of Kyle Shanahan? TL for Trey Lance, JG for Jimmy Garoppolo. Once again, get those votes in. Next question coming in, do you see the Niners getting a big-time player this offseason like Stephon Gilmore or Von Miller? It all comes down to the asking price for two very accomplished veterans in Stephon Gilmore and Von Miller. Now, Stephon Gilmore this past year was still, even in his early 30s, 31 years old, one of the top-flight cornerbacks in the National Football League. As for Von Miller, yes, he's getting older, and yes, he has to pick and choose his spots for when he wants to be dominant. And yes, he would benefit playing alongside a Nick Bosa and an Eric Armstead. He really benefited playing alongside Aaron Donald because the focus wasn't solely on Von Miller. Gilmore and Miller can still be elite players in this league. I just don't want to pay both of those players $15+ million. If Gilmore comes to the Bay and says, you know what, I'll take $10 million per year for a really good cornerback, and then you slide all of the other solid options at cornerback on this roster, like a K'Wan Williams, like a Ambry Thomas, like an Emmanuel Mosley, back on the depth chart, it makes that secondary a lot better and a lot deeper. Even Jason Verrett coming back on a veteran-proven laden deal, I wouldn't hate that either. You need more depth in the secondary. You can't move forward with Drake Kirkpatrick as well as Josh Norman as options on the back end for San Francisco. Niner faithful, who's better for the Niners to draft in the second or third round? Jalen Pitre out of Oregon or Marcus Jones from Houston? I've talked about both of those players here on the channel. I might lean toward Pitre. He's really, really good. And if you want to move on from Jaquiski Tartt, who might get paid more money from another team compared to San Francisco during free agency, maybe it's good to go with a rookie. Then you'd have two young players in him as well as Talanoa Hufanga. Marcus Jones can play as well, but I tend to like Pitre a little bit more. But I do think that you're going to see the Niners go defensive back, O-line heavy, second and third rounds, and maybe try to target a wide receiver at some point in the upcoming NFL draft, which comes your way April 28th to the 30th in Las Vegas. Wet Noodle 187 with this question coming to us from enemy territory in Washington. What do you think we can get for Jimmy now? Also, did you see that buzzer beater from John Morant? The John Morant buzzer beater, one of the most acrobatic and athletic plays that I've ever seen on a basketball floor. And John Morant this year has become the most exciting player in the NBA. Joel Embiid might be the most dominant. The Joker might do things that are just so gifted for a big. DeMar DeRozan, an MVP candidate. But John Morant, he's highlight, man. Highlight reel worthy. As for what I think the Niners can get back for Jimmy G, I've always said a second-round pick. There is still going to be a vast market for him. Anybody who's saying anything other than that is just a Jimmy Garoppolo hater. So I'm saying second or third round is my prediction for Jimmy G. I've said that all along. I think that's going to be the case because I think there are quarterback-needy teams who are ready to win right now, and Garoppolo is the best option. How much do you think Jimmy G is worth in a trade? Your opportunity to be a part of the show, just like I am as the host, like producer Jeremy Chuggs is as a producer. Let me know in the comment section. I'm going to circle back to see what all of you say.